Hi all, we're going to do some more PowerShell. Before we get started, we'll do a joke here from a real old book here. It's like 1930, 1940. Let's see here. Found it at the library on the free rack in 1943. Okay, it's a landlord talking with a struggling artist. The landlord says, "I want you to pay your rent." The struggling artist says, "Let me tell you this. In a few years' time, people will look up at this miserable studio and say, 'The famous artist used to work here.'" Then the landlord replies, "If you don't pay your rent by tonight, they'll be able to say that tomorrow." Okay, we'll start PowerShell, all apps. Windows PowerShell, PowerShell here. This guy here, if we click on the icon there, we can come down here to properties, and there's different settings that we can change here. Like here, I can make the font bigger. I can change the cursor. See how it's a blinking line here. I can change it to a square. That's kind of awkward. Or you can change it to a big square. I don't know why you would want it like that. It may make it easier to see if you have trouble with your site. So I would say you would usually keep it as an underline. Okay, so I have a file here. We're going to go over putting functions inside of a user profile. So functions are pretty tough if you've never seen this type of thing before. So just follow along the best you can, and we'll do a lot more with functions when we get into scripting. So I just thought we'd go over this since we were working with the profiles. They'll be real simple functions. We're not going to get into anything that's real difficult. Okay, so hopefully you watched the previous video. We went through some basics of editing the profile file. So just to start from the beginning though, we'll test the path. This goes out and checks to see if you have already created a profile file. Okay, it returns false, so we don't have a profile file. We can go out and look at the file, user folder, documents, Windows PowerShell. Okay, that's where the profile file would be. I want to drag a shortcut to my desktop. I can right click and hold and drag that down here and drop it, create shortcut. So now I have a shortcut to this folder. Okay, if you don't have this guy on your desktop, you can also get to it through users, your username, whatever you're logged in as. Docs and Windows PowerShell. Okay, so two ways to get to the same thing. Okay, so this line here creates a profile file. So we're going to create a new item, type, it's a file, it's just a notepad file, and the name of the file is profile. Now this is a fancy name, it's got this $sign here. Don't let that mess you up. This force will overwrite the file if you have previously created one. So let's see, we'll hit the enter key. See here, it created the file. Here's the actual name, Microsoft PowerShell profile.ps1. PS1 is the extension for script. So you can see we named it here. We named it profile, $ profile. The real name though is this. See, if we go to the folder, here's the actual file. So this is just a fancy way to get to this file. If we right click this guy and go open with notepad, you can see it's just an empty file. We can put some text in here. And you can see if we run this same command again, force profile, it'll write over that. So now if we come back here and we open this, you can see we have a new file now. So okay, so now we can test the path. And now, since we have created a profile file, that returns true. Okay, let's check our execution policy. Our execution policy is set to restricted. We're going to set our execution policy to remote signed so we can run our profile file. Here, if we don't, we have a profile file here, right? If we close PowerShell and come back and open that again, see, now we get this error message because our execution policy is set to restricted. It can't run the profile file. If we set our execution policy to remote signed, and we'll come back and we'll check it again to make sure it worked. Now we have an execution policy of remote signed. If we close this, if we close PowerShell and come back to it here, now we don't get that red error message. We have a profile file. Our execution policy is set to remote signed, so we don't get that red error message. Okay, we went over that in the previous video, but I just thought I'd run through it again. Okay, so now we want to add some functions to that file. If we want to, we could just come over here and just do open, and type in our functions here. But a fancy way to do it is Notepad Profile. That opens this file here. Doesn't matter which one you use. Now we put our functions inside here. Okay, so here's our first function. We'll just cut and paste this in here. So you can see a function starts with the word function. Then here's the function name. You can name it anything you want. Within reason, there might be a few things that you have conflicts with. And then a curly brace opens the function. A curly brace closes the function. And anything between these two braces, that's the code inside the function. Okay, and then we'll save it and close it. Now PowerShell needs to get the changes. We haven't we made changes to our profile file, but PowerShell doesn't know about it yet. So we have to go out and reload the profile file. And that's what this dot says. Go out and get the new profile file. Okay, so now we have our changes, and we can run that function here. Okay, so this function is inside of our profile. When we type in the function name, it runs this function. All the function does is execute this commandlet, clear host. For this example, it might seem kind of silly, what's the difference if we type this or this, right? Well, normally when you have a function, there's a lot more inside there. There's like a paragraph full of code, depending on what you're doing. It might be a couple lines, it might be a half a page, it might be a couple pages, usually like a half a page or so. So this is just a silly example just to show you what a function is. Anything you put between the two braces is the code, C-O-D-E, the code inside the function. Okay, so we'll create another one here. Here's the code. So now we'll have two functions inside of our profile file. 1, 2. This function starts with the word function. The name of the function is MyHello. When we type in the name of the function, it will execute this command here. It'll write to the screen, hello world. Okay, so we'll save it. You don't have to close the profile file as long as you do file save. file, gets the changes, and then we have to reload it again. We have to reload the profile file to get the changes, and then we have to type in the name of the function. We ran this function using the name of the function. We executed this function. We ran the function using the name of the function here. And if we wanted to, we could go back and run this one too. So now we have two functions inside of our profile file. Just to experiment with this stuff, we'll create a third function here. Okay, we have a function named MyDir. We have a function that will go out and get child item. So we'll save it, reload the profile file. You can do a MyDir, and it goes out and gets the items. See, we're in the user1 folder, so it lists all the items here. That's all the items inside this folder here. We can change this prompt here. See, this here is our prompt. Anything after this angle bracket, that's where we type. Every computer shell, S-H-E-L-L, every shell that you work on, the prompt will be different. And we can also change ours too. Ours, the way they have it set up is it shows us the path. See, if we do pwd, print working directory, that shows us the path. This here's the path. That's what is shown here. But if we want, you can change the prompt to just about anything. Here we'll put a function inside the profile file named prompt. Function, name it prompt, and anything you put here will be our prompt. So we'll save it, reload the profile. Now our prompt is just a PS. Just kind of saves screen space. Okay, if we want, we can always go back, change that. We can take that out, save it, reload the profile file. Now, we didn't get the changes, right? If we go back and we start this up again, now we got our regular prompt back. Okay, so if you want, you can go back and set your execution policy to restricted. We can check here that it was changed. Now it's restricted. Now if we try to reload the profile file, we get that red error message, right? because our execution policy is set to restricted, so it can't run it. And also because we have this file here. So if we close that and start this back up again, it can tell that we have a profile file here, but it can't run it because our execution policy is set to restricted. What we can do is delete that guy from the folder, and now when we start this up, we don't get that red error message. That was just a brief introduction to functions. As we get into more scripting, these functions will get bigger. Okay, see ya. Bye.